Hello, Jenny Hall here for Honeybee Stamps. Today I am stamping with Let's Hang Out stamps and dies. I have already colored and stamped my images onto Bristol paper with zig pens off camera. To do the Bendi card, we're going to start with a top folding A2 card base, and then we will create a left bend and a right bend. The left bend is going to look like a grassy hill, and the right bend will look like a fence line. So I've used some dies to help create this. This is the Horizon Slimline Borders die set. The grassy hill is going to slope down to the right, but attach on the left, and the fence will attach on the right. To create this style of Bendi card, which does have a traditionally opened card base, then I'm going to create a background to go onto the card. I'm using that same die set, which is Horizon Slimline Borders, to use for the background, and using some Distress Oxide inks with blending brushes to give the background pieces some color. This is part of customizing the card that really appeals to me because I can make it look like any season. After the pieces have been inked, I've used a little spray bottle to give them a little bit of squirt of water and then picked it up with a rag. I'm going to add some ink coloring to both of my Bendi pieces as well. I'm careful on the fence line because it's a little bit more fragile, but it still holds up well. I used 110-pound cardstock to cut all the pieces today because I want them to be able to stand up and not bend out of place. Now we're going to take that panel that measured 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, which is the same size as my card base, and just assemble them back together right on the card base. The Bendi area will attach on the left-hand side of the grassy area and on the right-hand side, so I've been careful not to add the adhesive right up against the edge of the card base. Now I'm going to make a score and fold mark on the left side that is 1/4 of an inch on the grassy slope, and then use some liquid glue on both sides and slide it up underneath that edge of the grass. Now we have our left bend. And there's no need to score since this fence line is really friendly with folding. So I'm going to do the same thing on the right-hand side and just fold one of the pieces over, give it a good score, and then adhere it with liquid glue on the right. So now we have our Bendi places in place. I'm going to use a craft knife in order to go through that first layer of cardstock so that we can actually tuck in and make the Bendi pieces adhere in place. I'm going to use this craft knife not to go through the whole card base, but just that top layer. I'm making the cut just long enough to be able to slide in that grassy slope. The whole purpose of making the cut is just to be able to slide that in to where it stays in place. And that's it. That's the first bend, or the left bend. Now we're going to see what the right-hand bend will look like. If you choose to make this project, and I really hope you do, then however you decide to use your die cuts, that will determine where you make your piercing places in order to make your left bend and your right bend stick out. This is a great project to make snowbanks. You can use the same die set that I used, but make it snowbanks instead of a fall countryside. So here are our pieces that are from Let's Hang Out Stamps and Dies. They're made on Bristol paper, and I heat embossed over some black ink with clear embossing powder and just use those zig brushes to give them a quick coloring. Now I'm going to adhere with some liquid glue right on the back side of that fence. Now this card works really great as a bendy card, but it doesn't have to be a bendy card. You could just make this a left flap and a right flap and create a trifold card. That would be fun too. Once all the pieces are in place, you can see so much dimension. This card still has a traditional card base so that you can open it up and write your note inside. I'm going to use a sentiment from the stamp set and use the coordinating dies to cut out the sentiment and adhere that directly to the right side bend. I really like how Honeybee's precision tip glue works so great. It dries super fast and doesn't give me any clogs or too much gunk. The autumn afternoon gem stickers are just a perfect accent to be able to get a little bit of shine on an otherwise super cute card. And because it's a traditional card base, you can still stamp anything on the inside that you like. I hope that you have enjoyed this project, and in order to see more videos, subscribe to the Honeybee channel and be sure to ring the bell to be notified for more projects. All of the supplies, including the colors of the zig pens that I used, are listed down in the video description. Thanks for watching.